Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathy Fagan. I'm an annuity specialist here at Art Jetter & Company. Thank you for joining us today on this highly anticipated presentation from Estate Plan Navigator. Today we'll be discussing this comprehensive new tool that is designed to help your clients create custom estate plan documents. Today we're joined by Chris Hall, founder of Estate Plan Navigator. Before I turn it over to Chris, I just want to mention that if you have any questions throughout the presentation, you may type them into the chat box on your screen. All questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Without further delay, here's Chris.
Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate that. And we appreciate the opportunity to be working with Art Jetter. And hi, everybody else. Thanks for taking time today to learn about Estate Plan Navigator. Just so you know, as I move along today, I may call it EP Navigator for short. I know you're all really busy and get solicited for all kinds of things, so we're glad you're here with us today. I'm a former agent and advisor myself. I built a very successful practice, and I'm confident that you're gonna really love this new tool. I'll get into a bit more detail later, but I use what I call the old-fashioned version of this process to capture tens of millions of dollars in premium and assets under management. Today, our advisors average $150,000 in new premium or AUM for every estate plan they help a client or prospect with. So let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda for the day. Today, we're going to talk about the state of the market, meaning what's the opportunity with estate planning and why it matters to financial professionals. I'll get into a little history of our company because you'll want to be able to relay that to your clients and talk to them about who you're partnering with. I'll talk about the benefits for both you and your clients. We'll take a brief look into the software itself so you get a little bit of an idea what it looks like to use it. And then we'll talk about the pricing, both from the advisor standpoint as well as what the client pays for their documents. And of course, we'll give you what best next steps are, whether that means you're ready to sign up and get started or you need some additional information. So let's take a look at the marketplace. We hear these numbers a lot. I think we're all pretty aware that the baby boomers are, tens and thousands of them are reaching retirement age. That creates quite a market. Google says 63% of Americans don't have a will or trust, and another 7% said their documents are out of date. I think what's encouraging here is that only 15% of the respondents in this survey that didn't have plans said they don't need one. So that's 70% of the people you're talking to potentially don't have a plan. Why is that? Well, generally speaking, most people say, it's time consuming. Estate planning attorneys are expensive. I'm sure you're all thinking of lots of reasons on your own. As a former advisor who helped over 200 people get their plans, I would argue that for many of them, it's a fear of the unknown or something that they don't understand. And so you're going to have the opportunity to help your clients solve this problem. Why does it matter to you? Because if you don't help your clients with it, your competition likely will. As you all are probably aware, there's a real push out there right now for this more holistic approach. Your clients are just like you and I. They don't have a ton of extra time. They don't want to have a different advisor for everything they need. They're looking for someone who can manage as much of their financial life as possible. So with Estate Plan Navigator, you're going to be able to meet one of these demands. So why does it matter to the client? Well, probate's ugly. We've all heard the stories from whether it's celebrities or friends or other people we know. Probate's time consuming, it's expensive, and it's very public. I think an important point here, and a lot of people don't realize, and this is often a good motivator, and that is this thing we call living probate. If your client becomes incapacitated and doesn't have the proper estate planning documents, meaning powers of attorney in place, their spouse and family are likely have to go to court to assign a guardian or a conservator, and that's going to add expense and waste time during an already stressful event. The good news is now you're going to be able to help your client with this. Let's get into a little bit of history. Estate Plan Navigator is truly a new tool. Nobody else is doing what we do the way we do it when it comes to providing estate planning documents, but we have a long history. Our company roots go back to 1990, so we're approaching 30 years of creating documents. We've created over the last 30 years nearly 70,000 estate plans. Just to note, I am one of the early users of this service that started back in 1990, like I mentioned, and the original process that I'm calling it, the beauty of it was there was a new concept that allowed you as an advisor to partner with an estate planning attorney. That attorney allowed you to gather the required information from the client. And when I was doing this myself, just like the little picture there, I would gather the information on a data intake form, snail mail it, if we all can remember for a moment what stamps are like. We would snail mail it off to the attorney. The attorney could determine what documents the client needs, and then the attorney would mail them to me, and I got to deliver them. The beauty of that was that instead of having to refer your client out to the attorney and then hoping they get this done, the moment I discovered they needed these documents, I could take the forms out and help them get this important task taken care of. Well, fast forward to a few years ago, we decided, great process, it works awesome, but we needed to take advantage of technology and bring it into the 21st century. Not much about the concept has changed. Of course, we've improved on it, but in order to do that, and we've brought the whole process online. We gathered experts in tech and the legal world, and also from the financial planning insurance world, and we said, we have a goal. We want to build a software platform that allows the agent, the attorney, and their client to collaborate in real time to create these estate planning documents. And we've accomplished that. We did it initially just on the West Coast, but now we have a nationwide network of attorneys. The result is a turnkey or in-house estate planning solution for your practice. What does that mean for you? That means you can be that more holistic or comprehensive advisor for your clients. It's going to allow you to build and strengthen your client relationships. And I know a lot of platforms and solutions out there say that they're going to help you build and strengthen a client relationship. But I can tell you from personal experience, because I use this as a lead-in tool to build my practice, it's an incredible tool for that. It's a structured way to have a conversation about your prospect or your client, get to know their family, their children, their grandchildren, all the dynamics within their family. It's an awesome way to have that conversation, and it often results in a lot more referrals. Another benefit for you is to uncover additional client assets. In the process of protecting their estate from probate, you're going to talk about all their assets. Many of our advisors use this to go back to existing book of business. I've already hit on converting prospects a little bit. And another really beautiful thing, we get lots of feedback on this from agents and advisors, is the process automatically generates referrals, meaning as you build their estate plan, you're going to be gaining access to whether it's adult children or aunts and uncles, parents, other people that are involved in the process become leads for you. And it's real easy within our platform to take advantage of those. And again, just to repeat, we are seeing our advisors averaging 150,000 in new business for every estate plan they do for a client or prospect. Of course, all of this means nothing if your clients aren't benefiting as well. We're out there to help our clients. They're going to receive custom, high-quality estate plans from an attorney. This is not a self-help template like a LegalZoom. They're going to get it at a fraction of the cost of sitting with the attorney. It's going to save them time and the hassle of meeting eyeball to eyeball with that attorney. This is probably the biggest deal. Yeah, when you see our pricing, you probably say, wow, that's a great price. That's awesome. I can save my clients some money. But the feedback we get more than any is from the clients, and it kind of reverts back to what we talked about at the beginning. Your clients don't have a lot of time. They want someone to help them solve these issues. We hear it all the time. I was on with an advisor the other day, and they had their client there in the office, and they were completing a plan, had a question. And as we were hanging up the phone, I heard the client in the background saying, wow, this is super easy. And you're going to hear a lot of that because you're providing the answer to what they thought was a really daunting task. And then obviously, like we discussed a minute ago, we're going to help them avoid probate, both living and at death. A lot of you might be thinking, gosh, I don't know that much about estate planning. Don't worry about that. We're the experts. Like I said, we've been out in the marketplace for 30 years. We know what we're doing. We will make sure that you do as well. We have a very simple step-by-step process that is for gathering the information from the attorney. So let's take a quick look at a little bit of what that looks like. So as an advisor who subscribes to our platform, you are going to have your own portal. In your own portal, you're going to be able to, you're going to have all your clients stored here. This is bank level encryption. Everybody's stored here, all their documents. In order to create a new client and get a recommendation from an attorney and create documents, all you're going to do is log into your portal, click on create new client, and you're going to be able to begin to enter the client's information. Very simple, straightforward. Think of yourself as you're basically going to be acting as a scribe for the attorney. Once you're into the portal, the first set of questions that's going to be asked by the attorney, you're not asking them. Our network attorney is asking them via our software platform. You're going to go through this very simple and straightforward set of questions. This is what we call our needs analysis or triage. At the end of entering the answer, once you've answered these questions, the attorney that's assigned to the file, and this is an important part of what we do, the attorney that's assigned to the file, their photograph is going to pop up. And that attorney is going to be saying, hey, thanks for the information. Based on the answers you provided, this is what I recommend for you for documents. This is crucial, and this is a huge area where we differentiate ourselves from the LegalZooms of the world, the NOLOs, the kind of self-help. If you ever spent any time listening to the radio or been online looking at and hearing about LegalZoom, they have a disclaimer that says something to the effect, we are not a law firm, we are a self-help service. We are the opposite of that. We are a law firm. Each one of our attorneys is a law firm. And so there is an attorney responsible for every set of documents that's created here. And when you go in to build a plan, in whatever state you're in, you're going to have an attorney from that state pop up and introduce themselves and say, here's what I recommend. Because you as agents or advisors don't want to go anywhere near practicing law. So you're never going to make a recommendation as to what documents the client gets. The attorney's going to do that. And so once the Ed here, who happens to be our managing attorney out of California, once he makes a recommendation, your client can say, wow, $650, that's a good deal, and I get all this with it. Yeah, let's go ahead and start my plan. And then the process will continue. Again, just simple, one pop-up box with a question at a time. This is really just to illustrate what the process looks like for you. You're just going to be going through, entering the client information as you go through. Once you've completed and put all the information into the tool, the attorney will pop up again and say, hey, babe, we've got congratulations, we've got everything we need to create your documents, and we'll send them out to you. You'll get them in 7 to 10 business days. There are occasions, it's less than 5% of the time, that somewhere along through the interview process, a question was answered in such a way that the attorney would like to speak to your client live. We call that triggering a live attorney review. If that happens, this message would be slightly different. Rather than saying, we're going to send you your documents, Ed would be saying something like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, based on some of the information you provided today, I'd like to clarify a few things. And so I'll be reaching out to you via phone in the next few days. And so then Ed or someone from Ed's office is going to reach out to the client and say, and clarify what it was that is a little higher level complexity, and figure out whether either our document is sufficient for their particular situation, or whether Ed needs to do some custom drafting, we call it, because it is truly a complex issue. Again, that happens less than 5% of the time, but when something like that does happen, in that phone call, Ed's gonna tell the client what it would cost to do that custom work, and if your client's happy with that quote, Ed will go ahead and do it for them. If for any reason your client doesn't want to work with Ed, no harm done, hang up the phone. They owe us nothing, and they can move on. The beauty is that the additional level of complexity was identified, and the client now knows they need some special help. So that's a little bit about how that works. So again, in 95, 96% of the time, this is the message is going to pop up, and that means documents are ready to be sent out in just a few days. The clients, by the way, will receive both digital copies that live on the cloud in the vault, along with all of your other client documents, and they will also receive the physical documents. If you're a little bit nervous about this process, don't worry about it. We provide comprehensive onboarding support. It generally takes a 1-hour session of onboarding to get you up to speed on using the tool. Most of our advisors, after doing just a plan or two with clients or prospects, have no problem navigating the software. It was originally designed for direct consumer use, so there's lots of guidance in the process for you and your client as far as the attorney helping out through the process. We do have, I jumped through a slide, but it was not important. The pricing for advisors. Through ArtJetter, you are getting a tremendous deal. We normally charge $35 a month for access to the portal. With ArtJetter, you get it at $60 a year. It's almost a no-brainer. With that, you're going to get your own EP Navigator Advisor account, access to our network of attorneys. You'll get all the email and phone support you need. You get access to our resource center, meaning we have a very comprehensive center where you can learn how to do anything with regard to working with the tool and building estate plans with our attorneys. And then we have our onboarding Smart Start program. So that's the advisor pricing. What are your clients going to pay for documents? We have 3 options. And remember, the attorney is going to recommend what documents your client should have. So when you bring them into the process, the messaging is something to the effect of, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, let's put your information into EP Navigator and see what your attorney will recommend that you need. If the attorney recommends a will package, they are $225 per person. That includes the will, powers of attorney for both healthcare and financial, and they are state specific, because the thing that changes most from state to state is the healthcare powers of attorney. So we have state specific documents. Of course, even with a will package, you're going to have an attorney assigned, and then all the cloud storing and sharing. By the way, your clients pay nothing to have their documents stored and have the sharing capability in our vault. The second potential recommendation from the attorney would be for a revocable living trust package, and those are $650. They are not priced per person. $650 is whether they're single or married, and it's going to include everything here. The third option here is something we added this last year, and that is If you don't want to walk your client through the software and through the attorney interview, you can just go, it's very simple. We've got a place you can go, link straight to our calendar, book the appointment for your client, and they can set up an appointment to have us walk them through, and then we'll get the documents ready and shipped out to either the client directly or to you if you'd like to deliver the documents to your client. So the only thing different here really is that it's guided by us. And we always make sure that the client understands how they can access their documents in the portal, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how the pricing works. There's several ways we see advisors being successful in incorporating this into their practice. If you've got an existing seminar or workshop you're doing, you might add or fit in 5 or 10 minutes just to let your clients know that you also have an estate planning solution in your practice. That gives you another potential reason that prospect sitting at your seminar or workshop may actually start to interact with you. Maybe they're not, maybe it's not clicking when it comes to the Social Security event you're doing or the federal employee event you're doing, but they have a need for estate planning. So now you've got another opportunity to capture that prospect. We also have a seminar that we can share with you, a slide deck that you can put on your own generic estate planning seminar. It's also a great way to activate old clients by going back to them. And of course, let your clients know if you're out reviewing with them that you have this new service. So that's a quick look into it. What I'm ready to open up for questions at this point. So Kathy, if you want to open up, we can start answering a few questions.
All right, Chris. I see one question out here, and they asked, do the packages include any state filing fees?
They do not. Now, not trusts and wills, they don't, I mean, you can record a will, so answer no. The only fee that's not really, other than that, that's not included that you'll want to prep your clients for is if the recommendation is for a revocable living trust, they will need a deed for their real property to transfer it into the trust. And we have a service to do that. It's linked on our website, and we have a title company to do that. It's $150 per deed. We don't make any money on that. We just contracted with them to make it simple. Any others?
Here's another question. Martin wants to know who files the deeds.
Yeah, it depends. You as an advisor, depending on how involved you want to get, you can help your client and go down to the county and record it for them. I used to do that. I probably wouldn't do it these days, not for any legal reasons, and just life is different, but usually the client, I would say most times the client does it, actually goes down and records the deed, and some can be just mailed in with the right forms.
Okay, here's another question. Patrick wants to know, how do these prices compare to getting a local attorney?
Depending on the market you're in, where geographically, I would say anywhere from 50% of the average to a fraction. Mostly I hear $1,500 to $2,500 for a set of documents that's as good and comprehensive as ours. And if I can, I'll just add a little to that because we had limited time today. I wanted to just get you all introduced and get the conversation started. But our documents, with the level of experience we have, they are the real deal. They are not a little template document. Without getting too deep in the woods, they have provisions that other attorneys all charge extra for. They're really a good set of documents that I would say all day long would be $2,500 to $3,500 from an attorney.
Okay, here's one more question that's coming in. Do your documents include setting up creditor trusts for the beneficiaries?
Yes, in that if there's a prior marriage, I'll want to make sure I'm getting this right for the person posing the question, but I believe, if I'm understanding correctly, yes, if there's a prior marriage or well, let's just leave it at that because you brought up creditor. If there's a prior marriage, yes, we're going to do an AB trust, and that B trust is going to provide creditor protection for the B trust. Does that answer the question?
Yes, they're not posing any additional follow-up, so it looks like that does answer the question.
Okay.
Okay. I don't see any additional questions out there, so we're going to wrap things up. First, I want to say thank you to Chris, as well as everyone who joined us today. We encourage all of you to start thinking about clients who could benefit from using Estate Plan Navigator. Our team here at Art Jetter & Company is standing by. If there are any follow-up questions, please call us. We're at 800-228-0008. And thank you for attending our webinar, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, everybody.